chatty lad. Any chance of an autograph? Please, Jack. Come on. Jack, come on, please.
Hi guys, welcome back to today's episode of the Social Discourse on the Stores on the Pitch channel. So I'm going to be discussing about Jack Grealish today. I have been seeing this topic for quite a while, but I never really felt like there was much substance to it until I started seeing some things I think I needed to point out, which may or may not be the truth. So now, before I get started on the show, if you have watched up to this page, please kindly do endeavor to watch longer of my video so that I can get used to my content and understand my perspective of how I do my content. It is really going to be appreciated if you watch my video this long and even maybe watch it longer. I'll be very glad. So just like I've said, Jack Grealish, 100 million pounds, moved from Aston Villa 2021 to Manchester City. Very promising, was part of the treble team, won the Champions League, won, I think, the FA Cup or so, and of course, won the EPL. So what happened to Jack Grealish from that standard up to now? I think that is the reason why a lot of people are actually talking. According to the video I started this show with, Jack was sitting in a pub where, he get drunk. He was drunk and he wasn't in his normal self. In fact, people were asking for his autograph, but it was respectfully declined. So we are going to be looking at this today because it is believed in the media and even in the social media space that if some type of players did what Jack Grealish did and the media caught them doing that, the backlash would have been different from the backlash Jack Grealish is actually getting. So we are going to be looking at that today, if perhaps what they are saying is true or perhaps what they are saying is wrong. So today I'm going to be playing two videos, one from TalkSport and the other one, of course, from Sport. So let me start with the TalkSport own so that we can as well begin on the conversation.
Against Plymouth, Jack Grealish was seen to walk out of a building. It was a social club, as I understand it, up in the northeast in Newcastle. Some were saying on social media he was looking a bit worse for wear. So if you're watching right now on YouTube and on your smart TV, you can see Jack being led to a people carrier. It would seem somebody is asking for his autograph, and that request is politely declined. So that was that. What I would add to the conversation at this precise moment, before we go anywhere with this, is that it was off. It was in his free time. He was seen to have been pictured with the punters inside that building, which was the North Biddick Social Club near Sunderland. And he was having a chat and a few drinks, it would seem, on his downtime. Because, again, as I understand it, City players aren't back in until this morning at the City training ground. So his time was his own. But many people on social media are saying, is that the best look, Jack? Is that the best look right now for you? And of course, it was only back in January, Pep Guardiola said, I need the old Jack back because I want to see him with City as we try to win things.
It's easy. As much he looks himself, and we see the contention, so they have to compete themselves. And now Savinho's in better shape and everything than Jack. And that's why I played Savinho.
So Yeri Guardiola being honest about what is going on. Of course, we can trust Guardiola for being so direct, for being so honest. So I think Jack Grealish has been caught by a mile, not just on form, but I even think psychologically. And the narrative now, or the reason why we're having this conversation is because what Jack Grealish is allowed to do, some type of players are not even allowed to do 1/4 of those things. Or 1/4 of those things. I don't know which one is better. So the point of this conversation is, for example, if, say, a player like Pogba, for example, or Rashford, or somebody in that caliber, were caught to be drunk, or perhaps were caught to be out of form, the criticism they get, and even for the fact that they cost £100 million, just like, for the fact that Jack Grealish cost £100 million, one of the best deals in England football, in English football, the media narrative would have changed a lot. People would have said a lot of crazier things than what is actually going on now. Everybody is forgiving Jack Grealish for what he's doing now, for not being on form, for not doing well in the team. For Savinho coming in and just taking his place, for Doku taking his place. So these are the conversations we are going to be looking at today. And here is Pep Guardiola saying that, of course, if he is able to come back to form, if he is able to get his form back, maybe, just maybe, he can get back into the team.
I wanted Jack for the travel. Yeah, I want it. But I try to be honest with myself, for that. And what happened with Savinho delivery in the box is higher than maybe the other wingers in that position, and they have to fight. You can say, okay, now it's unfair. Okay, if you decide and you think about that, it's fine. They have to prove, okay, I'm going to fight with Savinho to deserve to play, in that position, and every single day, and every single week, and every single month. And that is because I fought a lot for him. I fought a lot to be here to come on, do it again. And I know I can do it, but I saw him. It's not I never see one play Jack on the other one. No, I saw him. I saw you level. And I want that. Every single training session, every single game. You know what? Savinho, there is someone in this room that Savinho don't deserve right now, doesn't deserve to play? No. Deserve.
So of course the manager sees them in training, sees what they do in training. Savinho just came in the last summer transfer window. I think it was even, I don't really know about these guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he has always been a part of. I think he has always been a Manchester United player, but he never really just came into the squad. But then he came in this last summer. Now, so Savinho came in. He has taken over Jack Grealish space, and according to Guardiola, he says the way they perform, of course, on the pitch is what determines who is going to play next. Who wants it more? So, what exactly is happening with Jack Grealish? He's no longer in the English squad. He's no longer in. He's out of favor with his manager at the club level. So what exactly is wrong with Jack Grealish? How did Jack Grealish fall from grace to where he is right now? And the level of for Jack Grealish are falling is not allowed for other players, but Jack Grealish is allowed to do it. Jack Grealish is okay for Jack Grealish to just call off. The media narrative will just keep quiet. Everybody will just keep quiet like it's okay. £100 million player. But the Clarence is not even allowed in one match off, for example, or Pogba is not allowed in one match off, for example. And or else again is not allowed. These players are not. Rashford is not allowed in one match off. So what exactly is happening with Jack Grealish? Even according to the manager, he's saying it here.
That's why I play.
So that was Pep making it really clear, Simon, that Savinho, for one, is ahead of Jack and ahead of others like Jack in the queue to get into first team contention.
Just in the door, making quite an impression as you would think he would.
Yeah.
Jack Grealish has been there for 3 or 4 years, so a different dynamic, probably slightly unfair comparison, I think.
Sure. No, I think a song and dance about this.
Sorry guys, I have to pause. If you have watched my video this long, please kindly remember to subscribe to my channel. Also like and share my video if you can, and also please do comment. I'm going to respond to every comment on the show. Thank you so much as you help grow my channel. So let's continue.
And I would say there were people that no doubt on social media, and I've seen it already, pointing fingers at me. Yeah, no doubt when you used to drink, you would come out of the odd establishment looking worse for wear. Yes, I did. Absolutely did. But in 13 years, I haven't had a drink, and I'm proud of that and happy to be living my life that way. As far as Jack is concerned, Simon, does the lad image of Jack from the days of winning the treble give him in any way more of a pass in people's eyes when they see this? Oh, that's Jack. Should the critics lay off people like Jack because he's enjoying downtime and he's mixing with members of the general public?
Well, I don't think it gives him more of a lad image. I think it gives him the trouble for Jack is that the legacy of the things he's done in the past, whether that's as a young man falling about in Tenerife or wherever it was, or whether it's standing on the side of the road on a slipper having crashed his Range Rover during COVID, these things carry forward, and you can't get away from it. I will forever, every time I pop my head above the parapet, be told as the guy that lost a load of money in Crystal Palace. We've got legacies and we have to carry these things. Now, Jack, does he want this look? Does he want this outlook? I don't know. Does it affect his playing performance? Does it affect his relationship with his
So this is it with people that do things, like, okay, this is what I mean to say. Like when you do something and there are no problems, but what you are doing is basically bad, people are studying you, but it becomes a bigger problem when there is a big issue. If Jack Grealish was not caught to have been drunk, for example, maybe people would not have taken it so serious. But he was caught to have been drunk, and now, according to Simon, he has that tendency of getting drunk. According to him, COVID period, they had an accident with his car, stories like that. You understand what I'm saying? So basically, Jack's life is more or less like it takes a lot of, it drinks a lot. Yeah, let me say it that way. And the public perception of him is what is fueling this narrative now. Is what is fueling this narrative. But he has been doing these things ever since. Ever since, nobody has been seeing any issues with all of these things. But then people who have not even done, because I remember there was a time the only thing Rashford did was just to have maybe a haircut or a hairdo or something like that. And the whole media went agog on it. The narrative was is not serious. How is he supposed to be making his hair when he's supposed to be, of course, be focusing, on what he's supposed to be doing on the pitch. Same thing with Pogba. But times and times again, Jack Grealish have been drunk. He has been off where he's supposed to be. And nobody's actually pointing out, nobody's talking about, not until now.
Manager, these are considerations that he has to have in conjunction with the professional career that he has. It seems to be synonymous with British sports footballers. We don't see foreign players doing it. We don't see other sports doing it. I'm not really inclined to judge either which way. If he thinks that the best version of himself is to present that kind of image where you're half cut coming out of a pub, to the New England manager coming in the door, to Pep Guardiola in the middle of a rebuild, then Jack will reap the benefits of that. If it doesn't affect his performance, once upon a time, this was a culture that was celebrated. We change our minds very quickly in this country. Everyone was patting Chris Evans and Danny Baker on the back when they had the arms wrapped around Paul Gascoigne, dragging him from one nightclub to another, and ultimately not being particularly helpful to his career. I don't see Jack Grealish as anything other than a young man with a lot of a disposable income, with a lot of attention, and people focusing on the minutiae of it. If it affects his performance, then people should have an issue with it. If it doesn't affect his performance, optics is too often played out. Who cares what the optics in people's minds are? As long as he can perform.
So I understand what he's saying, that whatever the lifestyle Jack Grealish is living is a two crossroad. If what he's doing in his lifestyle affects his performance, people are definitely going to talk. But if what he's doing at the same time does not affect his lifestyle, maybe people are just going to, maybe what he's doing on the pitch, he's doing well on the pitch. And of course, his lifestyle is quite different from what you perceive it to be. It doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter at that point in time. I think that's what he's saying.
Form on the football field, then I think that's the predominant concern that Man City should have. If I were Jack, if I felt unhappy about this sort of coverage, there'll be one day, Jack, when no one's interested. So be careful when people ask you for autographs or pictures or interested in you, because there'll come a time when they won't be. But the same thing is that if you don't like these sort of headlines, if they trouble you, if they do, I don't know if they do, if they trouble his dad or they trouble him, then don't give it to him. Because it's one thing going over a drink. Yeah. It's another thing staggering out of a boozer. And it's nice that people are able to remember where they came from, because footballers often come from those sort of backgrounds. That's great. You shouldn't lose sight of where you came from.
No, true.
But there is a point where you're professional athletes.
Yeah.
And that's an image that you want to represent of yourself. There's one thing having a good drink. There's another thing staggering out of a boozer. There's a balance. Another thing going the other end of the equation. Jack.
The next video I'm going to be playing now is actually what I think is the nail directly on the head. So now let's listen to what these Sky Sport presenters to say about the situation of Jack Grealish.
You have to be real. If it was Rashford doing the kind of thing that we have seen Grealish doing, if we'd seen Rashford in those images stumbling down the road outside the pub, he would be destroyed. And I think that there is a double standard here in the way that we treat images like that. And I'm sure Rashford himself would look at that. I'm sure Grealish himself would be relieved he's not Rashford in a situation like that.
So you can imagine what he's saying. And what he's saying is, guys, do you actually think what he's saying is the truth? Please kindly do remember to drop your comments in the comment section. Let us discuss about it. Let us discuss about this. If that was Rashford, what Jack Grealish did, walking out of the pub drunk, or if that was Pogba, or if that was anybody that is always unintentionally controversial, just because people want them to be controversial. What do you think would have happened in the media space? What do you think the press would have said? In fact, they would have even forced the club to release a statement. According to my own understanding, Because when there begins to be too much heat on the club, for example, too many people are talking about Rashford not doing this. The manager will be asked questions about it. The club sometimes might be forced to make a statement and stuff like that.
But we are not being fair and even-handed if we don't articulate the state of play. And I think as far as Jack is concerned, at his best, as I said before, he's an absolutely outstanding talent. He will want to get back into the thinking of Thomas Tuchel for England, with a squad being picked. But at the moment, you would suggest there are far more potent, consistent, just much more creative options for him. And it's about where Jack goes from here. Does he want to get back into the City side?
And it's a shame.
Does he want to get back into the England side?
Yeah.
It's all his
It's a
responsibility.
shame.
So now Pep Guardiola is going through a rebuild. £200 million spent this January only. And if Pep Guardiola is going through a rebuild with what is going on with, and we understand something with Pep Guardiola, that is quick to dispose a player. But how do you dispose a £100 million player like Jack Grealish? What do you do? What do you do to them? Because Jack is not in is not in his own best, frame of mind. How easy would it be to ship up Jack to where exactly? Back to Aston Villa, or where exactly? Back to Newcastle, back to where? So I think the bigger the person here that will have the biggest loss might be Jack Grealish. Because if he's not taking over his life now, trying to stop his drinking habit, his social lifestyle, during the on-season, and be more focused about football, he might actually, just like the way he's saying now, doesn't want to go back into the England squad, doesn't want to be part of the Manchester City team that will probably compete next season. So these are the conversations.
Because not only could he, is he a brilliant player, but he's a cheeky, chappy, nice bloke as well, isn't he? He's always friendly to fans. He'll sign autographs, he'll have pictures, and he's loved as well. He's, I remember going to an event, and actually, as you guys know, I work in a news section on my newspaper as well as a sports section. And I remember going to a commercial event, and so many of the questions I was asked at that event were about Jack Grealish. He has a universal popularity, and a respect that he has earned because he is so down to earth. So I don't think there is a will to really take him down or anything like that. He's a super player, and we want to see him back where he was. It's always a shame when any player loses their way, and we just hope that he gets back to where he was. And sometimes.
So, guys, this is the video for today. This is what I want to talk about. I want us to talk about this. I want us to have a discussion about it. I want so many comments on this video so that we can actually discuss about, because it's becoming heated conversation on social media. It's becoming, people are asking questions that who exactly is protecting Jack Grealish from these conversations on the social media? Why are people not calling him? Because they would have called other player out. Aubameyang was called out. A lot of players were called out, for not performing too well according to the expectations of their club or manager. But Jack Grealish, this season has scored. I'm not sure he has scored 4 goals this season. I'm not even sure the number of games he has played this season. So this is a guy. So this is the video for now. Drop your comment, just like I said. Please look at my followers. Kindly join to subscribe to my channel. I'll greatly appreciate. And I'm going to see you in the next video, guys. I'm going to see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching my video to the end.